Here we are at January 11th of 2023, and we have the loop playing here. And we've had a few CMEs, that one right there, this one right here, and that one there. Okay, and we'll let the loop play here for a second and let you get a good look at this, and then we'll start going frame by frame through it and start pointing stuff out. Okay. Alright, so we'll pause it right here at the opening frame. Back it up a couple. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so here's our opening frame, 024 on the 11th, and you can see we have a little CME underway over here. This is a little jet coming out of probably one of our sunspots over here. And as we go forward through this, it's like a normal little jet, probably the rest of our X-Flare, whatever that we had the day before. Then we have this event emerging, and if you look over on this side, you can see we have a dark patch with a bright patch in the middle of it. This is where our object is. This is the magnetic field around it that we see going right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come over here and just zoom in on this side real quick for you guys. Pull back this camera so we got a little better view. Hidden right here, this little black round spheroid is our object right here. And I'll pull this out of the way. And you can see it's causing the CME, it's ripping plasma off. There might be one in this little area, it's hard to tell. But here's our little round object caught in this frame. And then let's back out of this a little bit. And then as we progress, whoops, where to go? It would be right in this little zone, I believe. And as it moves out, here's the negative or the ghost image of it. And we'll go in and we'll zoom in on it. Because here you can see our nice round black object that was captured in that frame that I showed you before. And zoom out a little bit here. Now it's kind of getting out of frame. Then it moves out of screen as we have this event, whoops, unfolding right here. It appears that one doesn't have much in it. But then we have this big event coming off the top up here. Alright, so let's back it up a little bit. Here you can see our instrument reacting to our CME coming out right here. And then as we go forward here, this frame, let's bring it down here. You can see we have our object again right here, draped in plasma, partially exposed right here. You can make it out. It's this dark patch in the middle of all this plasma. We have this dark core object surrounded by its magnetic field that's grabbed a hold of all this plasma. And let's see if we can tilt this down just a little bit. And see if we can zoom in on this just a tad bit. And you can see over on this side, even though it's not showing up too well, we have our dark red or our dark patch in the middle of all this plasma, which correlates with our object over here. We'll come in and zoom in on it over here too. And you can make out a round spheroid object partially covered with plasma right here. There appears to be one back in here, maybe multiple in this one. But you can clearly see this one as it emerges. Now let me put the screen back a little bit normal. And scroll back up here. Then move this out of the way. Then it proceeds to move on out. Here's the negative image, the ghost image, with showing our object here in white now. And we'll just zoom in on this object, this one real quick. So you can see this is the negative. This would be all plasma, and here's our dark object illuminated white right in the middle. So the ghost image picked it up as well, and there it is moving out of frame. Okay, so an object was captured in that second CME. And lately, we've been having these X flares with no CME, with no objects inducing them at all. And now we're back to these coronal mass ejections induced by these objects again. Let's see if we can pick it up or run this side real quick. If we tilt the screen just a tad bit, you might be able to make out these two little dark objects right here. Doesn't work too well on the red side, but there's a couple of objects right in that one. Here, let's capture it a little bit. Right here's one of them. Right here's the other one. Okay, and as we back out, you can see it's over on this side of our CME. And then, excuse me, as we progress forward through this another frame, let me pull this back down. Let's get this back over. Not doing a very good job at managing my screen here. There we go. Okay, so back to our progression as this moves out here. You can see we have a little object right here on this edge, and then where's the frame I'm looking for? I think it's 88, 89. Yeah, this is the frame I'm looking for right here. Now, as we zoom in on this over here, whoops, you can make out we have something going on right in here. This has put a huge dent and a big disruption in this wave right here, this outgoing wave. There's a huge dent, so this object is creating some kind of disruption. Then we have these wavy parts right here, and if you look, they correspond with a black round object right here, another one right here, what looks like another one back here. So this appears to be a cluster of these small objects, probably packed tightly together with their own little magnetic fields holding them together. And then as it bursts out from behind the sun, or glances off of the outer ring of the magnetosphere of the sun, it causes this huge CME. And we'll back it up here again. Where was frame 90? There it is. Okay. Then again, just so you guys can see it nice and clear here, here's our round object again, making, clearing the plasma and revealing itself. I'm not sure if it's the one that's causing this dent or if there's another one right here, but as we go back and forth through this, different ones appear from in the plasma. And we can back up, we can see this one and this one that was up here emerging from the plasma and moving out of frame, as we have this one and this one right here. Okay, so there's objects in there captured again, causing these CMEs. What's this? It looks like another right here. This looks like another one draped in plasma on the bottom, but part of the top of it is sticking out right there. So this CME appears to be induced by a group of these small black stellar core objects that are packed tightly in a nice little grouping here. And it pulls off a lot of plasma here. If we go over to this side, now watch the red side as I put this back into motion here. And watch how much plasma it takes off with it. So there's our first one. Let me scooch this down a little bit. There we go. Okay, boom. Look how much plasma and how wide that field, that magnetic field was. Okay. So, boom. There's a multiple one right there with a big magnetic field. The other two had small little objects in them as well. Now that we've done that, we're going to come over here to the solar report. And we're going to go down here. Here's our flares. This was these three flares right here. The first one was a 2.4. The second one was the 5.6, and then another M3.1. I believe the 5.6 is the big one that we were looking at with the multiple objects. Then as we come up here, I want you to take a peek at this X-ray flux here because it's been going crazy here lately. And let's scoot over just a tad bit there. Okay, here's starting today. Here's our 2M flares. Looks like 3, maybe 4. They only said 3, but maybe they don't count this one or something. But here's our M flares that we saw today. Then a little drop in activity, but then the X-ray flux keeps climbing, and it's getting almost up to M class level here. So we have an increase in our X-ray flux, and when you go back to the other image here, the sun, you can see that there were some other spots there that were still brightening up. So let's continue on with this. Back out of that a little bit. Then I wanted to bring you over here real quick. Something that if it'll let me. I think we just got jammed up. Oh, whoops. All right, well, let's try opening that up again. Bear with me just for a second here. There was something else I wanted to point out there, if it'll let me. Here we go. Sorry, I'm working with funky equipment. It takes a minute, and I don't have all the professional gear and stuff, so I have to do it this way. There we go. See if we can get this to open up. Bear with me just for another sec here. If it doesn't work, we'll wrap it up. Here we go again. So, solar ham. Because there's a couple other things I wanted to point out in here. If we could just get this back up and going. All right, so we left off. Ooh, look at this. We have a new update. Let's zoom in on this real quick because this just changed since. And we are now experiencing an M-class flare because this just went above the line right here. And what I was going to try to get at was, as this is increasing, getting towards the M line, I wouldn't be surprised to see more M-class flares, and boing, there it is. So it beat me to it, but here we are undergoing an M-class flare as we speak. So back out of this now because I wanted to go over here. To the tracker. Now, we were watching this CME coming off, and it appears to be going off to the left right here. If you look right here, here's the Earth. You will see that it has this little impact just behind the Earth, and probably to the south again. Okay, so these objects in their magnetic field are going to brush just slightly behind and south of the Earth again, and I believe we're going to be seeing more events in the southern hemisphere. Possibly what's going on is when these things pass in the southern hemisphere, they are pulling down the weather from the northern hemisphere, pulling it further south, and that might be the reason for the California rains and the atmospheric rivers that we're experiencing right now could be caused from the sun and from these objects passing by. They're not, this one seems to be going a little further away, but some of them pass by and interact with our Earth's magnetic sphere, and it'll eventually cross our field line right here and probably cause something else. But that's that. Now, something else that a fellow YouTuber, I think you all know, Wages World, was reporting on this right here. This is something else that I wanted to report on as well that he pointed out, is here we are with our sunspot progression, okay? And here's our solar maximum due in 2025. We are directly even, or maybe 2 sunspots shy or whatever, of our solar maximum, and we're only in 2023, okay? So if you look at the way this is climbing, you can draw the middle line, this purple one right here. You can even connect these lower ones, all right? And it's still way above what's, our normal projected forecast. If you connect these higher dots, you will get a higher arc that would probably finish up here somewhere. Okay, so we are just about ready to eclipse solar maximum, projected solar maximum already in 2023, and it wasn't projected until 2025. Then let's scroll down to this other one really quick. This one's just a little bit different. What was this one? Oh, here's our solar flux progression. All right, I don't do a lot, but lately I've been doing a lot on the solar flux progression, or on the solar flux, because that's what indicates when we're going to have activity. So here we are, already above the solar maximum of 2025. We are already above it by quite a bit. This is what it looks like 135 or 140 maybe, and we're already at 148.5 or something. So if you connected these dots, this would project and go way up here and come back down. So we are way ahead on our solar activity, our sunspots, and our solar flux is way ahead of where it should be. All of these are way ahead of where they should be. Okay, that was just something that I wanted to point out. I'm glad Mark did a good job of that too. Glad to see him back and reporting as well. Now, here's the other one I want to kind of go over real quick because it shows just a little bit better here. Our steady little increase in our flux. You see how it's been all up and down. Here's our X flare yesterday. Here's our 3M flares today, the big one right here. And then it tapers off, but still it kind of starts to climb back up into, we're getting close to M class solar flux. And that's crazy. So we're going to keep an eye on this solar flux and what it's doing now, because it's been increasing slowly and just being very erratic lately. So I'm going to report on that more often. And I already showed you the objects. Most of Soho was down today because the satellite was readjusting, so I'm not even going to bother showing some of those images. But what I do want to do before we go, for you people that are in California, well, and everybody, whoops, I did the wrong thing. I want to do a GFS model run real quick here for you guys, so there we go. Alright, bear with me just a second here. We're old-fashioned here. Okay, here it is. Hopefully it's been updated because it only had a couple of days. Ooh, look, it is updated. Here we go. So starting, let me pull this back so we get the date in there and everything. Okay, yeah, here's our date right here, January 11th. And I'm going to start playing this. And you just pick out your part of the country. Let me back up a little bit here. That way we can see the whole thing. Alright, here you can see the whole country, and here's your dates and times. So here we go. I'm going to start playing it. Here's our current conditions in California as we speak right now, and our incoming storm. Now we're the 12th, 13th, we're the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. All right, so that kind of looked a little bit better there. So let's back it up to the very beginning here. Here we are, January, 10 p.m., January 11th. Storm underway, and it moves on out. The 12th, we got another, little break. Then on the 13th, here comes this storm, hitting another Northern California again, you guys. And that's another good event right there, lasting into the 14th. Here's even more coming in all through the 14th. Here's the 15th. Kind of clearing out. Well, maybe not clearing out, but here's another round on the 15th. We're into the 16th here. Now we're into the 17th, still snow in the Sierras, little break maybe for the coast. And then another one here on the 18th. Okay, this is just all projected. It's not set in stone, but I'm going to run that model so you guys can see. And here we are at the 21st with another little impulse coming in. Okay, little scattered spits and sputs. That's good. That's good. So we had about 3 or 4 bands right there that were looked concerning. And what I was going to say is, for all you people in California, you know, if you might want to consider getting a bug out bag ready. Fill your car with gas, have plenty of supplies. If you could leave, if you live in Northern California and you're getting flooded, or you live in a like the hill areas where there's burn scars and stuff, I would expect landslides and all kinds of crazy flood events, landslides, rivers overflowing their banks. I would check all your drainage systems around your property. Some of you, might want to bug out because it might be safer to stay at a relative's house for the next few days until all this stuff passes. For those of you who are trying to go up to Tahoe, it's going to be crazy going through the mountains and over the Sierras. So I would avoid that area for the next few days until all this is done, because this is serious, and I pray to God this thing isn't totally accurate and it's not as bad as it's showing. But we still have those inbound waves that Mike is talking about, and we still have inbound waves from the sun reacting. And when those hit the earth, I'm telling you, they intensify these storms a little bit more. And we're going to see more of this activity, I believe. And as these things, interact with our, like I said, interact with our planet, they're going to be affecting our weather as well. And I think we just had a latest earthquake. It was like a 6.8 or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to go look that up and research that. I'm not going to report on that now, but we'll just leave it here with this GFS model. You pick out your part of the country, wherever you live. There might be some kind of, all right, here on the East Coast, you guys are going to get something out of this one. This, as it crosses, here's a low pressure starting to build right there. Not too bad. I'm looking more for Tornado Alley right there. Might be an event. That's a pretty impressive low. Okay, here's something else right there. Okay, so you people in this area, you might want to keep your eyes peeled on the weather in the next few days, because when these storms do move across the country and interact with this moist air coming out of the Gulf, you get your thunderstorms. So that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye.